Let's go to Vince from Wisconsin. Vince, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
Hello, David. I was just wondering, what do you think? What punishment do you think the ringleaders of the coup should receive, like Trump, Hawley, Cruz, Giuliani, these people?
Depends what I mean. Listen, this is a question really for prosecutors. You have to figure out, first of all, did they commit any crimes? If they committed crimes, what can you prove in court? And so I just don't know. And this is part of why I've said I don't think that the general insiders are going to suffer any consequences, because it's not clear to me what specific crimes you could actually successfully charge them with. We all know that they spent months fomenting an environment where they had ignorant, rage filled people weaponized and ready to go completely crazy on January 6th. But I don't know that that is a clear path towards any specific charges, which is why I don't think they're going to be charged.
Do you think that maybe a part of a reason why prosecutors don't charge is that they might be afraid of the cult coming to essentially harm them and their families?
No, I don't think so. I think that for me, I've said before, I believe if one prosecutor charged Trump, there would be more prosecutors that would be ready. But I understand that there are likely prosecutors who don't want to be the first to charge a former president, because that is a really, really big deal in the context of American democracy. But no, I don't think the reason they aren't charging these people is because they're worried about their families. I just think that it's not completely clear they think any of the charges will stick.
Yeah, I just reading the other day that the New York charges are sort of fizzling out. Nothing's really going on with that.
Well, but that's a different situation. What appears to be happening with the Manhattan DA is that prosecutors quit because they became aware that the DA didn't really seem to have any intention of charging Trump, and they were like, "Well, what the hell are we doing investigating that?" That's a different situation, I would say.
Right. Well, the DA doesn't want to be the charge either. So,
Right.
I mean, it just seems like in this country, you only get consequence. Rich and powerful people only receive consequences if they screw over other richer and more powerful people.
There are definitely there's a two-tier justice system in the United States. That's for sure.
Right, and even if I think they should at least try, even if it doesn't succeed, but because then you set the precedent that you can be charged, that you can prosecute them.
That's up for debate. I mean, if you don't believe the charges will stick and that they will go anywhere, there's risk both personally to prosecutors and systemically to starting to charge former presidents with stuff you don't really think you can get them on. So I don't know. I think some legal experts would disagree with you on that.
Yeah, if it's a low chance, then maybe they shouldn't. But if it's a decent chance, then it might make future presidents, think twice about doing this stuff.
I agree. If you think you can demonstrate it in court, even if you're not going to get a guilty verdict, but if you think you can seriously demonstrate in court the wrongdoing, which often includes proving state of mind, which can be tough, I completely agree with you. Then charges should be brought.
Yeah, it's just disheartening to me. But thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure. Thank you very much. That's Vince from Wisconsin. Let's go next to, where are we going next? Let's go to Peleg from Israel. Peleg, you are on the air.
Hello, David. It's my second time calling in.
I remember.
Last year on the October 17th show.
Yes.
Talking to you. It's great to talk to you again.
Likewise.
So my question is more general about in developed countries, or in developing countries, I should say. What do you think is the best way to strengthen democracy there and build up a system that is desirable?
Are you saying many developing countries are democratic? So can you clarify? Are you saying in particular developing countries that are not democratic?
Yes. Also, helping them economically to build social democracy there, and generally a desirable economic system.
I mean, the thing about the question is it presumes that we need to be helping every country. I mean, there's lots of countries that are developing, but we're doing business with them. We're helping them in terms of industry by buying things from them. I don't know. I think it's a little presumptive to assume we need to be doing more necessarily. I think that I would first say, prove to me we should be doing anything.
Oh, I meant through trade and aid, not anything interventionist.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, listen, then we continue trading. I don't know. I mean, listen, it starts. what ideas do you have for how through trade you'd like to see us support democracy in another country? What's an example?
For example, if you look at it's called the Commitment to Development Index, you could see that it's really interesting. The social democracies, and it's an index that measures how much a country is committed to helping developing countries. And you look, and it has 6 metrics, if I remember correctly. I don't remember all of them, but it's trade, aid, technology, health. All of these factors, I think, are very important. And I don't remember the U.S. being high up there in the list, but I remember Denmark being pretty high there. So,
Mhm.
so that was something I was interested in. Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
So do you have any book recommendations?
Sure. I mean, what fiction, nonfiction, what genre?
Economics, or nonfiction economics. I'm sorry, I should have specified.
Nonfiction economics. Let's see. What have I read recently? I read a book by Esther Duflo and Abhijit Banerjee called what was the name of the book? Hold on a second. This was a good economics book. It wasn't. Oh, Good Economics for Hard Times. I would recommend that. That's a sort of somewhat new economics book I've read that I thought was quite good. Also, Angus Deaton recently wrote, let me see if I can find the name of the book. The Great Escape, which is a really good book. The Great Escape by Angus Deaton. It's actually 9 years old. And then also Deaths of Despair by Angus Deaton. I would recommend both of those as well.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with Angus Deaton. It's
Yeah.
pretty interesting, and I've yet to read these books, but I'll be sure to read them.
Beautiful.
Okay, thank you.
How's the weather in Israel? Is it nice?
Weather in Israel is pretty bipolar. I mean, we had pretty huge rains, which is pretty good for Israel because it's a pretty dry country. You know, the Kinneret, which is the sea or the lake, I should say, shrinking, but then we have rain, so it's getting bigger. So that's a good thing. But then we had like a period of a month or so where it was like relatively hotter, and then the rains came back yesterday. I don't know what's happening.
Wow.
I don't
And
know.
are you in what part of the country are you in?
So I am in Ashkelon, near Ashkelon, I should say, but it's sort of in the south center of the country. But then I went to uni from the IDF. I went to uni; they subsidized it, so that's in the north. Like that's in the other half of the country. And now I went back for a month back to my home, and I'm gonna go back in the 20th of March, back to the Technion.
Well, a
which is where I study.
lot going on. I think Wolf Blitzer's from Ashkelon. I don't know why that's in my mind. I think, but don't quote me on that, Peleg. Okay, I appreciate the call.
Okay, have a good one.
All right, there's Peleg from Ashkelon. Correction, Wolf Blitzer reported extensively from Ashkelon, but he was actually born in Germany. So I want to make sure that I clarify that just in the interest of clarity this evening. One of our sponsors is Blinkist, who's been supporting the David Pakman Show longer than any other sponsor. Blinkist is the app that lets you listen to or read an entire nonfiction book in just 15 minutes. Blinkist is the way to absorb those books you can't make time for. Blinkist takes top nonfiction titles, pulls out the book's key takeaways and insights, and gives it to you in the form of a text or audio explainer that you can consume in 15 minutes. With Blinkist, now you actually do have time to learn about all the things you've been wanting to tackle. On the Blinkist app, I just listened to This Is Your Mind on Plants by the great Michael Pollan. Super interesting, the history of caffeine and so many other things. Blinkist has you covered on podcasts too. Blinkist takes long episodes of popular podcasts and distills them into audio you can listen to in 15 minutes. With Blinkist, you can become knowledgeable about so many different things. You can have conversations with people about more topics. Blinkist makes you more well-rounded. Try Blinkist for free and get 25% off a subscription. Go to Blinkist.com/Pacman. The link is down below.